Hey guys, welcome to Data Track, your one-stop channel for all the data science and machine learning updates. Today we will be looking at different classification metrics which are important while solving a classification problem. When we are solving a classification problem, the choice of classification metrics should depend on two things. The one is the type of business problem we are solving, and secondly, number of instances belonging to each class or categories, whether it's a balanced data set or whether it's an imbalanced data set. With that, let's do a deep dive into it. In machine learning, classification is the problem of identifying which set of category a new observation will belong to, and we have a training data set for which the categories or class membership is already known. Some example of classification problem can be, we have designed a spam filter which can classify as mail as spam or non-spam, and other could be looking at some of the features like the sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width. We have to decide or classify which hybrid of the iris flower it is, whether it is setosa, whether it is versicolor or is it virginica. So this is a binary classification problem while this is a multi-class classification problem. Next, let's look at some of the important terminologies. Suppose we have a smart machine learning model that has been trained to detect a rare disease on patients. The output can be positive, that is person having the disease, the person is infected, or negative, that is person is healthy, person is not having the disease. There are four cases any patient can end up with. The first is true positive. Prediction is positive and person is infected. It's appropriate scenario. True negative. Prediction is negative and also the person is healthy. Appropriate scenario. Third could be false positive, where the prediction is positive but actually the person is healthy. It's a false alarm. And false negative. Prediction is negative but the person is infected. It's the worst scenario because the person is infected but he goes undetected because the prediction is negative. Better way to represent this information is confusion matrix. A confusion matrix or error matrix looks something like this. Is a specific table layout that allows visualization of the performance of a classification algorithm. Typically, row represents the predicted class, that is how good the model is doing, the model's prediction, and the column represents the actual class. And as the name suggests, confusion matrix, it is able to tell us how much the system is confusing between the two classes. And when the person is infected, classified as infected, it's true positive. Healthy, classified as infected, it's a false alarm, false positive. And person infected and classified as healthy, again false alarm, it's a false negative. And healthy, it's true negative, that the person is not having the disease. So the first classification metric we will look at is accuracy. Accuracy is the ratio of correctly labeled instances to that of pool of instances. What will be the correctly labeled instances? It will be true positive plus true negative divided by all the possibilities. So that is what true positive plus true negative divided by all the pool of instances, true positive, false negative and true negative. And in English language, what is accuracy? Accuracy is simply how many people were correctly labeled. Doesn't matter infected or healthy. How many people were correctly labeled out of all the people. Now let's look at the spam filter example. Suppose we have equal instances, 50 from spam and 50 from non-spam, and this was the prediction and this was the actual classes. Then the accuracy will look like 45 plus 47, that is true positive plus true negative divided by 100, that is all the pool of values, it's is 92%. So the accuracy is 92%. While in the rare disease case, let's say we have 20 instances of infected people and 2000 instances of healthy people, because it's a rare disease, so infected people are less. Here the model is not doing a very good job. It is only able to detect 1 out of 20% who is infected and detected as infected, but 19 people goes as healthy, that is there the prediction is wrong, so the false negative is 19. And if we have to calculate the accuracy, it will be 1 plus 1998, that is true positive plus true negative divided by all the values. So accuracy comes to be close to 99%. Now one thing to note here is that even the model is not doing a good job, but accuracy is very high. So accuracy is a very good metric when we have a balanced classification problem. But in this kind of imbalanced classification problem, accuracy is not a good metric. Accuracy is not a good metric when the cost of false negative and false positive is not similar. Here we have very high cost for false negative because we would not like any infected person to go undetected. With that, the next classification metric we will look at is precision. Precision is the ratio of correctly labeled instances to that of all the positively labeled instances. So the formula of precision is true positive divided by true positive plus false positive. And precision answers the question, how many of those who are labeled as infected are actually infected in real? And if we look at the same example, the spam one, the precision will be 45. That is, out of 48 which are predicted as spam, how many are actually spam? 45 out of 48. So precision is 93.75%. In the rare disease classification problem, the precision will be out of 3 people who are predicted as positive, only one is actually positive. So 1 by 3, that is 33.33%. And if the model only classified 1 as infected and 0 as healthy, and that person was actually infected, then the precision would have been 100%. So in a way, precision only looks at how confident the model is while predicting a positive label, and it doesn't look at whether it is able to detect all the positive labels or not. So choose precision if you want to be more confident of your true positives. One example where precision will be a very critical metric could be spam emails, because it's fine if some spam mails goes to the inbox, but it's not fine if any regular mail, important mail goes to spam. So we would like the model to be very confident about spam emails, even if some of the spam mails goes to the non-spam or regular folder, but whatever goes to spam email should be actually spam. So in this type of problem, the precision will be a critical metric. The other metric that we will look at is recall or sensitivity. Recall or sensitivity is the true positive rate. Recall is the ratio of correctly labeled instances by a ML model to that of all the people who are actually infected in real. So recall answers this question, that of the people who are infected, how many of those are correctly detected. The formula of recall is true positive divided by all the positive, that is true positive plus false negative. And for this example, the recall will be 45 divided by 45 plus 5, that is all the spams. Out of all the spams, how many were actually predicted by the model? 45 out of 50, which is 90%. For the rare disease problem, the recall will be true positive, that is 1 divided by all the actually infected people, which is 20, so 5%. The model is only able to detect 5% of the people who are actually infected. So precision is how sure we are of the true positive, while recall is how sure that we are not missing any positive. Choose recall if the idea of false positive is far better than false negative. That is, it's fine if some of the healthy people goes as detected, but it's definitely not fine if any infected person goes as healthy. That is, infected person goes as undetected. In other words, the occurrence of false negative is unaccepted or intolerable. The example would be the same rare disease classification problem, where we would rather get some healthy people labeled infected over leaving any infected person labeled as healthy. The next classification metric that we will look at is specificity. It is also called the true negative rate. It is kind of opposite of recall. Recall is true positive rate and specificity is true negative rate. Specificity is the ratio of correctly negatively labeled instances by ML model to that of all the people who are actually healthy in real. And specificity answers the question that of all the people who are healthy, how many those are correctly detected. The formula of specificity is true negative divided by all the negatives, that is true negative plus false positive. In the spam filter case, the specificity will be 47 divided by all the negatives, that is 47 plus 350, which is 94%. And for the rare disease classification problem, the specificity will be all the true negatives, 1998 divided by all the healthy people, all the negative, that is 2000. It is around 99.9%. That is, model is actually doing very good job in finding healthy people, but it's not doing a very good job in finding the infected people. Specificity is the preferred when we want to cover all true negatives, meaning we don't want any false alarm. That is, we don't want any healthy people go as infected, then we will go with specificity. That is, we don't want any false positive. An example where actually specificity is the most critical metric is, suppose a ML model detects fraudulent customers and suspend the customer if detected positive. In such case, we won't want any non-fraudulent customer, that is any innocent customer, to be suspended. So we will want that all the innocent customers to be detected as innocent. So all the true negative to be detected as true negative. There we want high true negative rate, high specificity. So with that, we have looked at accuracy, precision, recall, and specificity. Now we will look at F1 score. This is the most popular metric for imbalance classification problem. F1 score considers both precision and recall. It combines the good of both the precision and recall metric. F1 score is the harmonic mean of the precision and recall. And harmonic mean looks something like this, where when we have to take the mean of two values, we first take the reciprocal of the two values, take a mean of it, and take a reciprocal of that value. So here we are taking reciprocal of precision, reciprocal of recall, taking a mean of it, and then doing a reciprocal. So the F1 score looks like 2 into precision into recall divided by precision plus recall. But why harmonic mean? Why not simple mean? Let's understand with an example. Suppose student A scored 11 and 14 marks in two subjects, and student B scored 20 and 5 marks in two subjects. If we see normal mean, it's same for both the cases, that is 12.5. We add the two values and divide by 2, that is the normal mean or average. But harmonic mean for student A is 12.32 and for B is 8. The reason is that harmonic means takes into consider the harmony, that is similarity between the two values. In the first case, it's more similar 11, 14 than 20 and 5. So harmonic mean is higher for first case. So that's the reason why we take harmonic mean for calculating the F1 score. We don't want one measure to be improved at the expense of other. For example, if precision is 1 and recall is 0, the normal mean would have been 0.5. But in case of F1 score, it becomes 0 because there is too much difference between the two values. There is not much harmony. We want the values to be in harmony. That's why we take harmonic mean. And F1 score is preferred metric for imbalance data classification. And this is the formula. So if we look at the spam filter class, we have calculated recall in the last few slides. It was 90%, precision is 93.75, and we take a harmonic mean. The F1 score comes out to be 91.84%. And similarly for rare disease classification problem, the recall was 5%, precision is 33.33%, and F1 score, the harmonic mean of two values comes out to be 8.68%. Now the last classification metric that we will look at is F beta score. Like F1 score, we have F beta score, which is slight modification of F1 score. So let's look at F1 score one more time to understand F beta score better. So F1 measure is obtained by taking the harmonic mean of precision and recall, namely the reciprocal of the average of the reciprocal of precision and the reciprocal of recall, that we have seen in the last slide already. Now put a close observation to the formula. There is a 1 by 2 here and 1 by 2 here, which means that we are giving equal weightage to precision and recall, that is 0.5 to precision, 0.5 to recall. Or you can otherwise also say that we are giving 1 weightage to precision, 1 weightage to recall, and total weightage is 1 plus 1, that is 2. Out of 2, we are giving equal weightage, 1 to precision, 1 to recall. In that way also you can look at it. Now what we can do is, instead of giving equal weightage, there may be scenarios where recall needs to be higher than precision, or precision needs to be higher than recall. In those cases, what we can do is we can give recall a weight of beta and precision a weight of 1. So we are giving precision a weight of 1 and recall a weight of beta, and to make sure that the total normalized weight is 1, we divide by 1 plus beta, 1 plus beta. Like in this example, 1 plus 1 was 2, so beta plus 1 should be 1 plus beta. So we are giving weightage to recall as beta and weightage to precision as 1, and the total normalized weight will be 1 plus beta. And now after doing the simplification, it will become 1 plus beta into precision into recall divided by beta into precision plus recall. And what could be the common values that beta takes? If beta is 0.5, it means we are giving less weightage to recall, more weightage to precision. And if beta is 1, it becomes F1 score, equal weightage to precision and recall. And if beta is 2, we are giving more weightage to recall and less weightage to precision, so recall higher than the precision. So this is how the F beta score looks like. So with that, we come to an end of this video, where we started with understanding what the classification problem is and why classification metric is very important. It is important because the results depend on that, and the way we should choose it depending on the type of problem we are solving, and also depending on class balance or imbalance. And some of the metrics we looked at were precision, recall, specificity, F1 score and F beta score. Hope the video was helpful to you. Please like the video and please subscribe to our channel so you remain updated with all the latest content in the channel. Bye.